Good day students, welcome back to Education on Cloud. In today's class, we will be discussing about C programming language. I will be teaching you about the lab practical session in C programming language. I will teach you in a simpler manner how exactly can we begin C programming language practically. So let us begin, students. So in today's class, that is the C programming lab practicals session, in this session we will be discussing about introduction to C programming language, that is C introduction. So in this I will give you a very brief idea about C programming language. Then we will discuss about Turbo C++ editor or the IDE. IDE stands for Integrated Development Environment. That is, in this particular environment we can develop C programs or C++ programs. Next, I will brief you with C programming or C program basic structure. That is a simple C program, let us take, and I'll explain you what is its basic structure, what all are the syntax we have to use to begin coding in C language. Then finally we'll discuss about some few basic C programs. So after this, in the practical session, I will demonstrate you how to use or how should we install the Turbo C++ editor, how to open, how to create a new program file in it, and how to save the file, open the file, then compile the program, and then execute the program or run the program. These things we will be discussing in our lab practicals sessions. So let us continue now. So now I'll brief you about the C language introduction. That is, what is a C language or what exactly is a program? See, in your computer basics class I have already explained you what is actually a program. So I will explain you once again here. C program or any programming language or any program is nothing but it is collection of commands or instructions which the computer can understand. So a C programming language helps us to create these programs using the set of rules defined by the C programming language. So this C programming language was actually developed by a person, a very well-known person called as Dennis Ritchie. This person, Dennis Ritchie, was working at AT&T Labs, New York, Jersey. So this person was working actually to develop a new operating system at that particular time called as Unix. So during the stage of development of Unix, he accidentally developed this new programming language which was named as C language. Later he used even this C language in order to develop the Unix operating system. So now let us go through the points. C programming is actually a general programming language. C is what? A general programming or general purpose programming language. As I said, it was created by Dennis Ritchie at AT&T Labs in 1972. Then the next point is that this particular C programming language, even though it is very old, this C programming is very old, even though it is very old, still now or till date it is very popular. What is the reason behind it? The reason is that this is the very important programming language. That is, if a person learns C programming language or the C program, he will be able to learn the other programming languages easily. So this is the basic, or this is the important reason why C language is so popular even though it is very old. Then next, the C programming language, as I told you, it was developed during the stage of development of Unix. It is, that is, C program is associated with Unix very strongly because it is used in the development of Unix operating system. Next, the next point is that why should anyone learn the C programming language? Why are we supposed to learn C programming language? As I told you earlier, so this is a general purpose programming language, and the structure or the concept of this is so popular that once you start learning the C programming language, you will be able to learn the other programming languages easily. For example, if you want to learn Java, Python, C++, the basic thing which we have to learn first is C. If you learn C, you will be able to understand Java, Python, C++, C#, or C# and other programming languages because their syntax and the concept is similar. Same way, C is very fast compared to other programming languages like Java or Python. And the other very important reason is that C is very versatile. That is, versatile means this particular programming language can be used not only to develop applications, it can be used even for system programming, or we can in simple terms tell that the C programming language can be used for the development of both application softwares as well as the system softwares or technologies. So this is the reason why C is so popular, and it is a very popular programming language one must learn if you want to learn other programming languages or if you want to become a software developer or a programmer. So let us continue. So now let us discuss the difference between the C language and the C++ language. So C++ was actually developed after C language. That is, it is nothing but as it was developed as extension of C. That is, most of the syntax are same, but there is a difference. What is the difference between C and C++ is that C is actually a POP type of programming language. POP means procedure oriented programming language, whereas C++ is OOPS type of programming language or structure. That is, OOPS stands for object oriented programming structure. So this is the main difference between C and C++. That is the reason why C and C++ means something extra is added to C. So that is the main difference we can say. And since C++ is using the concept of OOPS, that is object oriented programming structure, it supports the concept of classes and objects, while C does not support the concept of OOPS, that is class and objects. Let us continue. Okay. So to learn or to start programming in C language, we need an editor, we need a compiler so that we can program. So this application called as the Turbo C++ editor or Turbo C++ is actually an C++ compiler along with an IDE. IDE means integrated development environment. Here in this particular application we can start programming the C programs. So this was actually developed by a company called as Borland. Okay, so now let us continue. So here, before we start, I'll teach you exactly how to install this Turbo C++ editor. So in order to install the Turbo C++ editor, see, you can notice here I have given an URL. So you are supposed to go to this URL, and there, depending on your operating system, whether your operating system is Windows or Unix or any other operating system, depending on that you can select the type of operating system, and then you can select the version of the Turbo C++ editor. If you are using systems with operating system Windows 10, 7 and other, that is after version of Windows 7, 8, 8.1 and 10 or 11, you can use this particular version called as the Turbo C++ 3.2 version. Okay. So we are supposed to install this. Before you install this, you have to check in whether you already have installed the Turbo C++ editor. If so, uninstall it first. After uninstalling it, then start installing it. That is, when you unzip the Turbo C++ 3.2 zip file, it starts unzipping and a folder is created. In the folder you are supposed to look in for an executable file, that is the setup.exe file. So double click this or run this particular file and follow the instructions the setup gives you and complete the installation. So this is very easy. Once the installation is done, you will be able to see an icon on the desktop. That is, the Turbo C++ shortcut icon is created on the desktop. Say in case of Windows operating system, so it will be, the shortcut icon will be created on the desktop. So in order to run that or in order to open it, you are supposed to simply double click on it. Double click on this Turbo C++ editor icon, then you will find this particular screen. So this is the screen. So in this screen you can see here, there is an option called as Start Turbo C++ editor. So this particular option you are supposed to click. Once you click, the editor will open. So this is the editor. You can open this editor in full screen mode, or if you unselect the full screen mode, it will be in the toggle type screen mode. So this is the editor. In this particular editor, we will be able to write C programming codes and program it. Not only program, after programming it, we can check for errors, that is, we can compile the program. After compiling the program, we can execute the program also. Once the program is executed, we will be able to see the output also. So this is very popular editor. There are other editors also, which we will discuss in later class. So the one which I am telling you or suggesting you right now is the Turbo C++ editor, which is very popular. So what are the system requirements? That is, to install this Turbo C++ editor, what is the system requirement? So if you are using Windows 11, 10, 8.1 or 8 operating system, then there is no pre-requirement. That system itself is more than enough. If you are using the earlier version of Windows 7, Vista, XP, then along with that hardware support or the system, we need to have the framework, that is the .NET 4.5 framework is required for this particular application to work. So if it is installed, then you can directly start installing the Turbo C++ editor. Otherwise, you need to download first the .NET 4.5 framework, install it in your system, then you can start installing the Turbo C++ editor. Let us continue. So now, before I could start with the basic C program structure, so let me tell you the important shortcuts which we need to know when we are working on the Turbo C++ editor or the IDE, which is popularly called as Turbo C++ IDE or the editor. So here in this editor, if you want to go to file menu, then the keyboard shortcut is Alt plus F. Similarly, if you want to go to edit menu, then the keyboard shortcut is Alt plus E. Similarly, if you want to go to search menu, the shortcut key is Alt plus S. Similarly, if you want to go to the run menu, then the keyboard shortcut is Alt plus R. Similarly, if you want to go to the compile menu, then the keyboard shortcut is Alt plus C. Similarly, if you are supposed to go, or if you want to go to debug menu, then you are supposed to select the keyboard shortcut Alt plus D. Similarly, if you want to go to the project menu, then you are supposed to select the keyboard shortcut Alt plus P. Similarly, the various other menu options are, if you want to go to the options menu, then you are supposed to select the keyboard shortcut Alt plus O. If you are supposed to go to Windows or window menu, then use the keyboard shortcut Alt plus W. Same way, if you want to go to the help menu, you are supposed to select the keyboard shortcut Alt plus H. So these are the various keyboard shortcuts which we can use to toggle between the menus, or use it as a shortcut to open those menus. Next. So the next important keyboard shortcuts are, to open a file or to open any C programming file which you have already stored in it, the keyboard shortcut is F3. So this F3, when you press, it will open actually the open dialog box, so in which you can search the program or the file which you want to open in the editor. Same way, we have next, to save the file, that is after creating a file and after typing the programming code, in order to save it, we need to use the keyboard shortcut F2. So what does F2 do? So it will open up the save as dialog box, so wherein we have to give the program name. So program name along with the extension. If it is a C program, you are supposed to give the extension .c. If you want to store it as C++ program, then you need to give the extension .cpp. So .c is for C program, .cpp is for the C++ program. Same way, to close the file, you can use the keyboard shortcut Alt plus F3. Same way, to close or quit the editor or the Turbo C++ editor or the IDE, you need to use the keyboard shortcut Alt plus X. When you press Alt X, the application will close. So before closing the application, if any files are open, it will suggest you to close those. Once you close those files, automatically the application closes. Same way, in order to undo any action we have done, you can use the keyboard shortcut Alt plus backspace. To redo, the keyboard shortcut is Shift key plus Alt key plus backspace. Same way, in order to cut a selected content or text, you need to use the keyboard shortcut Shift plus Del. Now let us continue with the important keyboard shortcuts in Turbo C++ editor. Next. So in order to copy what we have selected, the keyboard shortcut is Control plus Insert key. Same way, once you have cut or copied, in order to paste it, you need to use the keyboard shortcut Shift plus Insert key. Same way, to delete or to clear the selected contents or text, you need to use the keyboard shortcut Control plus Del. Once you press Control, then whatever text you have selected gets deleted. Same way, to run or execute a program. So to run or execute a program, the keyboard shortcut is Control plus F9. When you press Control F9, that particular program starts execution. Same way, to compile the program. So in order to compile the program, again the keyboard shortcut is Alt plus F9. So when you press Alt F9, the program gets compiled. If any bugs or mistakes or errors are there, it will be displayed in the list. Same way, to create an executable file or to make an executable file. So once the programming is done, you want to create it as an executable file, then this particular keyboard shortcut, that is F9, helps us to create an executable file. Similarly, to zoom the screen or the window, we need to use the keyboard shortcut F5. So these are the important keyboard shortcuts which we can use in the Turbo C++ editor. Let us continue.